I don't know how, but they found me.
Hi. This year was pretty bad for me in terms of music, in the sense that nothing really ran away with my heart here. Like, there was some stuff I enjoyed, obviously, otherwise I would not have made this list in the first place. But from like 14 to 8, I like those albums exactly the same. Like, there isn't much of a hierarchy. Like, there were some tiebreakers that I used pretty much, like, and that's it. Like, that's the only reason that some albums were on here and some albums were. But I would like to give a shout out to the albums that are not involved. So shout out Sleep Talk by Dayseeker. It was actually pretty enjoyable. The vocals were pretty nice, the instrumentals were pretty solid, but it wasn't entirely memorable. The Masquerade by MXM Tune. The lyrics are so bad, but it's very enjoyable as well. It's like, no, okay, it's not bad. It's just written by a child, and it's someone talking about their experience as a young adult. So it actually gets the job done really well. But sometimes while I'm listening to it, like, I stop taking it seriously. And so that was sort of a tiebreaker here. Earth and Sky by Of Mice and Men was originally on this list until literally earlier today. I re-listened to it. I don't like it as much as I did when I first listened to it. Brand New Adult by B 1991 was almost on this list. I only listened to it for the first time yesterday. It's a really weird album by this Amsterdam pop artist, and it's pretty solid. You should check it out, I guess. But I don't know. I didn't spend enough time with it to put it on here. I just heard it for the first time yesterday. If I end up liking it enough to want to retroactively put it in here, I'll just review it on its own. And K through 12 by Melanie Martinez. If it wasn't such a weird person with a questionable story doing it, maybe I would have liked it more. But it's her, so I feel weird. So now that we got those albums out of the way, let's get to the list. Sorry for not doing the Harry Potter videos anymore. J.K. Rowling sucks.
Sometimes you gotta close the door to open a window.
I saw a photo, you look joyous. My eyes are green, I eat my...
So Igor by Tyler, the Creator, is actually like really nice. A lot of people were sort of taken aback, but honestly, I hadn't seen anybody really complain about the style change. We all just sort of saw it coming. I'm not like the biggest Tyler, the Creator fan leading up to this, but my friend Chris is a huge fan, and my friend Summer is also a huge fan. So because of them, I decided to listen to this, and it was actually really nice. I like the concept, and throughout the whole thing, like, I like his vocals. They've changed a lot, but I like them a lot. The instrumentals on this are really nice. The lyrics are pretty good, actually, for what he's trying to get across. And overall, like, it's a pretty solid listen throughout the whole thing. It feels very cohesive. It's not like the best thing I've ever heard or anything, but in terms of Tyler's stuff, this is my favorite album by him. But again, like, I've never been the biggest fan of him anyway. New Wand Magic is my favorite. That one has like nothing to do with the rest of the album in terms of style, I guess. But I mean, not really, but it's the closest thing to like a horrorcore throwback that he has on there. A lot of it is very like lovey and sad and stuff. That's the point and all that. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm happy that he's happy, because this seems like the sort of thing that he wants to be doing right now. So shout out Tyler on that front. This album was released twice at the same time. It's the same exact album, I'm pretty sure the same exact lyrics, but one version is Swedish because the band is from Sweden, the other one is English. I'm pretty sure this is the first time they've ever done a Swedish album. I feel like they just wanted to do that from the start, and they should have just done that from the start, because the Swedish version is better in my opinion. I mean, it sounds exactly the same, but I just have a thing for not understanding what people are saying to me in songs. So this one was really solid. I really love the instrumentals. I mean, it's prog and it's Opeth. A lot of people have issues with this. It's just because they're not heavy anymore. I don't personally give a fuck. I think it sounds awesome. Their heavy stuff is great. This stuff is great. Maybe they should have just changed the band name or something when they changed styles. I don't really care. This album is fucking amazing, and the reason I have not said its name is because I cannot pronounce it. But yeah, listen to the Swedish version because I feel like that's the one that they actually wanted to record. But if you want to do the English version, that's fine. Overall, this album actually is very solid, and I'm really glad that I got to listen to it. Originally, I was not gonna, so I'm glad that I did it anyway.
The cracks in my hands, hard to say it's over, but I'm already someone else's baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
So if you didn't believe that from albums like 13, 14 until album number 8, I felt pretty much the exact same way, then this should be proof, because I've been pretty vocal about how this album disappointed me when it came out. But it ended up growing on me throughout the months, especially after I saw her in concert. It was a really fun show, and a lot of the stuff that she played live was from the album, and then that sort of made it grow on me. But from the start, it's a double album, right? Love plus Fear. So I like the Fear part a lot. I like pretty much every single song off the Fear part. Believe in Love probably the most. Life is Strange is pretty solid. But Handmade Heaven I like from the start off of Love. Baby was always a really good one. I still hate Orange Trees. But overall, it is a pretty solid album for the most part. I still think the second half is a lot better. She's definitely trying to be a bit more poppy. She's sort of going on an apology tour, playing all these old stuff now. I do have hopes that her next album is going to be better, but this album is pretty solid, especially the second half. The first half isn't even bad outside of Orange Trees for the most part. End of the Earth is a really solid ending for the first half. But yeah, Fear is really the highlight. Too Afraid, Soft to Be Strong, No More Suckers. Like it's sort of banger after banger in the second half. The first one is a bit more iffy. Either way, it's a pretty solid album. Shout out Marina. I look forward to hearing more from her. Even though this was a bit of a disappointment, it was still pretty solid. Periphery is a pretty weird band for me in the sense that I've never heard a single song by them that I didn't like, but or a single album by them that I didn't like, but I pretty much never put them on these lists, or if I do, it's not very high up. It's just kind of works out that way. They're very prog metal-y sort of genty sort of thing, which I can take some of, but I can't take a full album of. This time is the exact opposite. I mean, it's only like 9 songs or something like that. It's still like an hour long. The first one is 16 minutes, and the first one is definitely the highlight. Reptile is my favorite song in the entire year. Not a single second of it is wasted, and other bands too should probably learn how to do that. Literally, it's none of this is a waste of time. All of it is pretty catchy. All of it is pretty heavy. All of it is like, it takes you, and it like squeezes you into loving it, and then you love it. The first song is still the highlight, but that's not to discredit the rest of it. I just feel like that's like the most perfect song recorded in the past calendar year, or at least released in the past calendar year. The whole thing is just... Also, it's called Hail Stan, and that's fucking funny. So this was a step in a completely different direction for Northlane. A lot of their stuff used to be very spacey and like existential and stuff. So when I saw that their album was going to be called Alien, I was, typical Northlane, right? But I was very excited for it from the start, even though I didn't really like Mesmer from 2017 that much. But it took me by surprise. The instrumentals are a bit more raw, and the vocals are a bit more raw as well. And I didn't really catch the lyrics as much at first because I haven't really listened to as much heavy stuff now, so I don't really get it automatically anymore. But once I looked into it, holy fuck. A lot slash all of this album is very personal for Marcus, I'm pretty sure, who all of it has to do with him dealing with and escaping his abusive father. And it was a really well taken step, I think. Some of the lyrics could seem a bit cheesy, but I think it's good. I think it's so emotional, so like the raw emotion, and like you can even hear from the start, like even in the clip that I used here, like his scream seems genuine, like it seems like he's honestly venting in that. And it's a step that I never expected Northlane to take, to be honest, even though like some of their stuff can be personal, but it's usually more existential than anything. And so this was amazing. And shout out to Marcus for being able to do this. Shout out for the whole band for being able to do this, because stuff like that can be very difficult. Really, really amazing album. I knew pretty much the whole time it was going to be on here. It ended up being this low because of some stuff that ended up surprising me. But shout out Northlane, and shout out Alien. Terrific album.
Give me Hallmark, one dream, one life, one lover. Paint me happy and blue. Norman Rockwell, no hype under our covers. It's just me and you.
I'm bringing this one back. I don't have anything Vegas or LA, so this is like the closest I can get to representing Lana, I guess. Leading up to this album, I was actually sort of afraid to listen to it, because my trajectory with this artist was, in the very beginning, I could not stand her, but I sort of could try, and then some people I knew liked her, so I tried to listen to her like on their behalf, and then it didn't really work out. And then my girlfriend was a huge fan, so I was like, okay, I'll listen with her. And then we started to listen to her a lot together, and then she actually started to really grow on me. So by the time this album came out, I was looking forward to it, but I was also not expecting to like it very much. It spent like a solid maybe month as my number one album, actually. I really, really, really enjoyed it. It's very long, but it's not as dull. Like, okay, it's about maybe a little bit as of, it's like, okay, her old stuff, like Ultraviolence to some extent and Honeymoon more than anything, was very uneventful. Like, that's the point of it. And this one, I feel like she finally got her sound perfectly. Like, it's calm and it's long, and it's she does her thing, her like emotionally built thing with her like weird aesthetic, but it's not like she combined all the sounds that she was trying on the last album and the ones before that, and like this is the perfect Lana album in my opinion. Like, she finally got her sound right, in my opinion, part two. It's really good. Happiness is a Butterfly was originally going to be the clip that I used, but Venice Bitch was awesome. That song is like 9 minutes long, some shit like that. All of it is amazing. The instrumental breakdown in the middle. My girlfriend wanted me to use that for the clip, because she just figured that this album was going to be on here, because, you know. But I didn't want to give that away, because like a short, like 24-second clip was not going to give that justice. Listen to that song. Listen to this whole album. It's amazing. Why do I keep clapping?
Riding this wave of youth, the pattern repeats the truth. You can't understand, it's happened again. Slipped out of my hands, it's my fault. There's nothing left to give, you have it all.
I have a shirt there somewhere in my closet, but it's also like, all my shirts are black pretty much, and it's a black shirt. I'm never gonna fucking find it. They did have a song called Chicago, so we're wearing this hat for this one. This album was originally not on this list. I listened to it once, and I was like, it's okay. And then I didn't listen to it again for 2 months, up until like 3 days ago, something like that. Holy fuck, was I sleeping on it. Like, it's whew. Okay, again, with like the raw rawness. This one was a lot more raw than anything that they've ever put out before. A lot of their stuff is like loud or obnoxious or something like that. This one can get like that, but a lot of it is more spoken word, and that can get a bit annoying sometimes in the sense that it's just, it can seem very dramatic and theatrical in a different sense. Like it feels like a soliloquy the whole time. But I think it's really well done. Some of the songs like Chemical and Wave of Youth, the one from the transition clip. Spiderhead was another awesome one. Lines of Your Hands was another awesome one. Even Though was another awesome one. Please Say No was my favorite. It's like the most easy to listen to, I guess. It's also the catchiest out of all of them, but Chemical, like I mentioned earlier, 10 out of 10, and Wave of Youth, the one from the transition, is so catchy, and the chorus is so like quintessentially emo. Like I loved all of it, and I love the new direction they're going in, and I love that they still kept some of the screams, and I love that they did this album in the first place. I don't know if they want to continue this direction. They sort of said that this was going to be a transition period. That's okay. I just hope that they commit wherever they go, because I feel like it's going to be good regardless.
So don't say you love me forever. Just let your heart speak up and now, no amount of words could ever find a way to make sense of this song. I wanna hear your mother tongue. So don't say you love me forever. Just let your heart.
I'm not wearing a fucking fedora. I've said this before, but this band's quieter, like poppier stuff is a lot better than their heavy stuff. I even have like some problems with their like rockier sounds, but I don't have that on this album. Wonderful Life, Mantra, heavy metal even. Some really, really fucking solid tunes. I really liked Mother Tongue as well. That's the one that I used for the transition. And in general, I feel like that's the spirit. Oh no, not even that. Sempiternal started their whole like quieter roots, and Sempiternal is still my favorite one by them. That's the Spirit was amazing as well, and that one like continued that. This one they're like fully in there, I think, and this one they did the best out of all of them in terms of like their new direction. I really like it. None of those three albums sounded the same, which you can't say about their old shit for the most part. So yeah, I feel like now they're a lot more unique, they're a lot more innovative, they're a lot more interesting to listen to than they ever were before. And Ammo really, really gets that across. Like from the start to the very end, I feel like in the end they're talking about how they don't know where to go from here. And honestly, I just look forward to seeing where they go from here. They said that they're gonna release like 3 albums in the next 2 years. Don't fucking do that. Focus like you did on this one. Pay attention to details. Really work on it like you did on this one, because this one was fucking amazing. And I'm a bit worried to see where they go from here, but I'm also pretty excited because they've done enough to make me trust them with their own music, and I really look forward to hearing more and 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 more of this album and some of the other albums and their next albums as well, because fuck, 10 out of 10.
White shirt, now red, my bloody nose sleeping. You're on your tippy toes, creeping around like no one knows. Think you're so criminal.
How about You See Me in a Crown? How about that, Billy? This album spent pretty much the entire year at number one, like since it came out up until recently. There were some dips, obviously, along the way, but for the most part, it was the most consistent number one album that I've had. It's probably the one that I listen to the most, and Billy's probably the artist that I've listened to the most outside of like Marina. But I don't know. There were just like there's not much to dislike about this album. Like it can be dancey, it can be happy, it can be like sort of badass if you're that's what you're going for. When the Party's Over, it's like the ultimate sad person song. Like it's the best. If you're feeling like super emo, like that's the one to go to. There's obviously some other ones. Elamelo's really nice. I Love You is awesome. Bad Guy is like a fucking meme. You Should See Me in the Crown is pretty solid. There isn't much to complain about with this album. I didn't like the song 8, but it's not enough to bring the whole thing down. Lyrically, it's weird. A lot of people are always judging for it, which is fair given the fact that she was like 16, 17, and a lot of the song's lyrics have to do with like fucking people. But as far as I can tell, she wrote the lyrics herself and her brother did the instrumentals. If that's what she wants to sing about, fucking go for it. I don't really give a fuck. I'm not here to police people, but I just hope that there isn't some like story 10 years from now about her being pressured into doing shit. She seems like a great kid. And her music's pretty solid. I just hope all is well. And this album is really worth listening to. No matter what you're going for. She's like pretty much like the most popular artist at the moment, and it's worth it. It's worth it. Just yeah, like she earned that in my opinion. A lot of people don't think so because she's young, but like fuck that bullshit. Like she's great. She has an amazing voice, and her songs are catchy and fun and sad and depressing sometimes, and just yeah.
The woods, the bridge of souls too far to reach. You can't escape damnation. Hallows Eve. This place is haunted.
Oh, I get it because it's the number one album. Okay. What the fuck can I even say about this one? Ever since I started college, I got really into heavy stuff again. And this is probably the one that I've listened to the most since like September. Like at least once a day. I listen to some of it to some extent. There's like literally like nothing I can even complain about. Sometimes Motionless in White will put out some cringy shit. I can't even think of any on this album. Even the songs that I don't even care for are awesome. Like it's the best ending song on the entire that came out in 2019. The best last song on an album is in this one. The best first song on an album is in this one. Undead Ahead was always one of my favorite songs, and they did a part 2 for it. That was awesome. And like fucking, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, Motionless in White has been one of my favorite bands for the past 5 years. In 2017, I didn't care too much for their album. I liked it when I listened back to it later. Like, I started to get into it again after I saw them at Warped Tour. And when they were putting out this one, I was hyped like the entire fucking time. And then it came out, and I didn't hear it for like a while because I was a bit busy. When I finally heard it, Jesus Christ. Just like right in the jaw. Like it would have been a straight up lie. And I say this at least once a year. It would have been a straight up lie if I made something else number one. Because this one is probably the one that I like touched me the most. Like, I listened to the Billie Eilish one more, but this one I definitely enjoyed more. This one did more for me as a person, I think. So, fucking, about songs I like, Catharsis I already said, Undead Ahead 2 I already said, Disguise, Legacy, Code, which is spelled all weird, fucking, like, Brand New Numb is pretty catchy, like, the entire, from the first song to the last song and everything in between. Amazing album. Banger, 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 fucking awesome, 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 awesome stuff. The vocals are amazing. It's a bit heavier than I even anticipated because they've sort of gone more industrial. They kind of like went back to a bit heavy with the last one, but still, this one is pretty solid. Chris is just the best. And just overall, this band is amazing. This album is amazing. Check that shit out. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Shout out to Olivia, shout out Alex, shout out Chris, who literally even helped with this one. Y'all are great. Rita, y'all are great, and I would probably not have done this if it wasn't for some mild peer pressure from some of y'all. So, thank you for watching. If you wanted more book reviews, I will be doing Percy Jackson. I'm not going back to Harry Potter for the foreseeable future because J.K. Rowling is a fucking turf. But, yeah, thanks, subscribe, all that fun bullshit. And if you're like, why is he so aggressive in this one? First of all, it's they. Second of all, it's because I'm fucking tired as hell. So thanks for watching again, part 1000, and I'll see y'all next year. No, I'll see you probably like 2 weeks. Periphery is a band that's pretty weird for me. I've never heard a single song by them that I liked. That's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to say.